Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption.
Hey, good evening everybody. Happy Friday. Hope everybody had a really good day yesterday with family and friends, neighbors, and all that good stuff. So happy belated Thanksgiving. But hey, listen, tonight we're going to start off with some progress that have happened with the digital dinar, for instance. Okay, and so basically, there's been progress from early plans to today. So that's going to be sort of the topic, and we're going to bleed it into some other stuff too. The digital dinar is a version of the Iraqi dinar. I think most of you know that, but just in case you don't, it's issued by the Central Bank of Iraq. It works like cash through phones or cards for payments. It reduces cash use, stops dollar smuggling, tracks transactions better, and makes banking easier for everyone. And that's the goal. Governor Ali Al-Haq has led this effort since returning to the CBI from the Arab Monetary Fund, by the way, in 2022. So here we're going to just do a little step-by-step from the early plans to up to date. Early indications, what is that? Readiness in the previous era from 2023 through 2024. That's the previous era. In September 2023, the CBI required all internal transactions in dinar starting in 2024, banning dollar use for use every day. Business inside Iraq except for travelers, and we all know that. October 2023, Al-Haq first announced CBI is moving towards digital currency at a finance conference. He said it would gradually replace paper money in the bank transactions to fix liquidity problems and modernize payments. 2023 overall, CBI ended dollar auctions by end of year, forcing banks to handle foreign trade directly. This cut cash dollar circulation and prepared systems for digital tracking, new technology. August 2024, Al-Haq confirmed a wide program for digitalization and electronic payments with great growth in card and wallet use. December 2024, dollar auctions fully stopped as planned. Banks now use direct partnerships for international transfers. They have at least 20 banks. They were up from 3 banks to 20 banks, and I think they're now going to be starting to push over 80, maybe to 100. These steps, what the CBI has done, shows that it is ready to launch digital tools, reducing cash by shifting to electronic systems first. Some major announcements in the rollout, 2025 progress. February 26, 2025. Al-Haq announced plans to launch the digital dinar at Baghdad conference. He said it would replace paper notes in interbank transactions first, then for everyday use. So there's a little bit of a term hierarchy there. They're going to do internet bank transactions first, then for everyday use. That was in February though. February 27th. CBI confirmed digital payments will gradually replace physical currency. Financial inclusion rose from 20% to 40%. That's a double in 2 years due to more ATMs and e-wallets. Electronic payments, e-wallets, Zane Cash. I just can't say that enough. Reports highlighted the digital dinar to fight economic crisis and this is through the month of March. Reports highlighted the digital dinar to fight economic crisis and parallel dollar markets. One German report said it would reduce U.S. control over CBI reserves. That's fascinating. We'll see what happens with that, because that's not necessarily a good thing or not necessarily a bad thing. But if Iraq has more control, it's good on them. So March 2025, still, the CBI adopted ISO 20022. They adopted it in March. So that back wall wasn't necessarily worried about Iraq, but that was about all the other banks that needed to be up to date. The central bank was ready to go. May of 2025, Prime Minister's advisor confirmed retail digital dinar experiment starting to complement cash and improve transparency. Okay, it goes up, moves forward toward 2025. Al-Haq detailed banking reforms, including secure electronic systems, and meeting international standards. They've been doing everything they need to do, and that's why, to me, that they're further along than they tell you. I firmly believe that. and which is actually that in itself is a sign that these guys they're doing this to be successful. It's successful. September 2025, Al Alak met Bank of England governor in London. CBI applied to join the BIS for Bank of International Settlements for global digital projects like the Agora project. We have all that data in patreon.com, militiaman and crew. We found SBI Holdings were connected to that. We found that Ripple was connected to that. We found that Zane Cash has been connected to this. Hedera, HBAR. Now just watch the liquidity, where it's going to come from. I bet you guys can guess where I'm headed with that one. So check it out. So October 2025, CBI announced all government payments electronic by July 2026. So everything's going to be done that way. So they're going to have time to keep moving forward. National Instant Payment Platform in pilot phase. When they say buy, they could be done by now. They can be. And highly likely that they have moved forward. So today's news, November 27, 2025, actually yesterday, Al Alak spoke at Beirut conference. Digital dinar could resolve 90% of financial problems by closing loopholes and improving oversight. Travelers' dollar system cut domestic cash dollars by 80%. Iraq ranked #1 globally with U.S. Federal Reserve for controlling internal dollar use. Domestic transactions now mostly in dinar. Black market spreads narrowed to 5%, and we're going to talk about that. E-wallets and digital payments handle 40% of inclusion needs. Inclusion needs is the citizens, financial inclusion. Yeah. Bank of International Settlements applications pending. Approval would connect digital dinar to international tokenized systems. Think about the pilots that they've used. They've already told you that these pilots have been done. But also think about this, that oil that's going through the Cyan pipeline. It's going through a Swiss company. And they've been working on tokenized oil trade since I think 2019, 2018. That's the quiet tell. You guys got to pay attention to that stuff. So when I say that these guys they possibly could be faster than you think, I don't leave out surprise, surprise, surprise. We'll see. Bank of it, BIS application, like I said, tokenized systems, no full publicly mentioned yet, effectively, like we just did it. They haven't done that. But interbank and pilot tests are live. Why Iraq is further along than many think? Quiet progress. Central banks keep sensitive plans, private until ready. Iraq has completed infrastructure without big announcements. Domestic success so far. Dollar cash inside Iraq has reduced 80% since 2024 rules. Parallel markets nearly extinct. They will be, in my opinion, as predicted in March of 2025 reports. So here we are today, and we're seeing the parallel market getting squished. Systems in place, ISO 20022, live since March 2025. Banks partner with global firms like Visa and MasterCard. Zane Cash and other wallets serve millions. I believe that they have about 20 to 22 million people have these cards. That's a lot. That's half their population. It's unbelievable. Pilots running interbank digital transactions and government payment tests active. Inclusion doubled in 2 years. Financial inclusion doubled in 2 years. Just reiterating some steps. International steps. Bank of International application submitted September 2025. Why is it important? Because it ties in with Ripple, Hedera, and JIC yen loans ready to cross-border use. All of those fit with the oil flow too, because there's a company called VACT and Vital. Look them up. Reserve strong, over 102 billion. I think it's 116 billion blended. Gold in 170.9, pushing 171 tons of gold. Supports the value of the real effective exchange rate. Inflation, they've said 0.8%. Compared to other countries, many countries still researching. Iraq has ended dollar auctions, digitized payments, started pilots ahead of most emerging markets. So people are moving on this because if they're doing it, we want to do it too. Next, what's next likely? A full retail rollout tied to a Bank of International Approval potentially, and the Agora project, digital currencies. We'll see how that goes. So from 2023 announcements to today's 80% dollar reduction, the digital dinar has moved from plan to practice. That's because I think those technologies prove that. That's my view. Iraq is ready for international use sooner than expected due to completed reforms and quiet pilots. I don't disagree with that at all. I think it's probably very safe to say that that's probably in line with what's happening. This benefits everyday people, easier payments, lower costs, more control over their money, and ultimately, the CBI statements and reports up to today are powerful. I think that's really good stuff. I'm going to jump into a little bit of stuff too to keep onto that topic. For instance, Friday the 28th November, 2025. Today's exchange rates for the official exchange rate is what? 13.10. We all know that. The street rate this morning is sitting at around 13.50 to 13.60. But yesterday, Thursday, the 27th, the parallel rate was down to 13.10 to 13.50, the closest it's ever been in 10 years. The official rate in 10 years, closest. That gap's getting narrower every day. So there's a fluctuation, but overall trend is getting narrower and narrower every day. 3 days from now, what's taking place? Sunday, 1st December, starting this Sunday, every single import into Iraq has to pay customs duties in Iraqi dinar through an official bank. No more cash dollars at the border, no more informal wires. Economists expected this one rule alone to put billions of dollars out of the black market and straight into the banking system in the next few weeks. It's a very big deal. Speculation on my part, wouldn't be surprised if there has a connection to why there was some sort of a deal there in the Kurdistan region with that little bit of an attack on some properties up there. And because the parallel market's getting pinched, they're getting crushed, and they're going to have some blowback. But it's probably not a very good idea for them to be blowing back too hard, because I think that the statements coming out of the U.S. probably gives them a fair warning. We're not playing games. And I don't even think al-Sudani is going to be wanting to play games. Too much at stake, too much money, too many projects, too much growth. Development Road project is far too long to allow people to play games. So anyway, the famous statement from earlier this week on Monday from the central bank: there's no plan to change the exchange rate at present. Keep that in mind. Governor Al-Alaq and Dr. Muhar Saleh both used exactly those words. Almost exactly. Notice the two little words, at present, quote unquote, at present. The statement was 100% true this last Monday. But come this next Monday morning, we will no longer be in the present. A quick history lesson. That makes people smile when Dr. Sinan al-Shabibi, the legendary former governor, if you guys remember that far back, because I sure do, used the exact same phrase, no plan at present, in late 2011. But right before the central bank made a small but important adjustment in early 2012. Central banks often speak this way when the last pieces are falling into place. Banking progress, it's moving fast. 20 Iraqi banks now deal directly with international banks. That's up from only 3 banks 2 years ago. Over 80 new digital bank licenses are processed right now. There's a thing called the FAT, the Financial Action Task Force, the FATF gray list review that could take Iraq completely off this watch list is scheduled for the first part of 2026, but it is not a prerequisite for a revaluation. And today, the head of Iraq's Private Banks Association told the news source that the country is leading its own banking overhaul. That's the private banking side. With full backing from the governor of Al-Alaq, private banks are digitizing fast and connecting globally. It's all coming together on schedule. To the new notes, the digital dinar. Lower denomination banknotes, the ones that they'll drop the 3 zeros from, are designed, contracted, and ready. And keep in mind, that's a redenomination, and when they apply a real effective exchange rate, they drop the 3 zeros, and then they apply the real effective exchange rate based off fundamentals. I'm not sure why people can't get that, but I'm sorry, but you just got to understand that. Leave it alone. The digital Iraqi dinar has already finished its testing phase and is moving toward public rollout whenever they're ready. They're not going to tell you what date. They're not going to tell you exactly how much, but they're going to give you indicators. They're going to give us indicators. We already know that. Big meetings that just finished today. Governor Al-Alaq spent the last 2 days in Cairo with the governors of the Arab Monetary Fund countries. Isn't that interesting? Check this out. Just like I've been saying, they use something called the Arab accounting dinar. Fixed at exactly three IMF fixed at exactly 3 IMF special drawing rights. I find it fascinating, you guys, because it's intense. If you do your Google it tonight, it goes, what's the SDR valuation from the IMF? And then do the math. It's like, well, that's for regional trade. That's what they use. It's fascinating. Iraq is lining up its systems to work the same way. Oil's flowing again. The northern pipeline to Turkey reopened September. Here it says moving now about 450,000 barrels a day through official channels. It's fully audited, and it's going through fully audited channels. Man, isn't that interesting about when they keep focusing on fully audited? Isn't that tokenized commodity trade with new technology? I have a feeling that's exactly what they're doing. The calendar must be, the calendar people are watching, and I know that I'm watching, is Sunday, December 1st. Customs rules kicks in for trade. There's other things that are taking place, but the bottom line is I'm not worried about the early 2026 FATF decision. I'm not concerned about any quotes of digital dinar going live at any other time, because I believe that these guys can do whatever they want to do. Projections are projections. Just because somebody projects something, but you know something, sometimes things happen fast. And sometimes they like you to believe that we're only going to project out there. But guess what? Markets are emotional. Keep that in mind. Markets like surprises. They really do. Look at things happen when news hits on certain stocks and certain cryptos, for instance. A lot of times, if it's really bullish, you know, you're going to get, the market loves surprises. And I think that's basically where we're at. But anyway, nobody in official position has promised an overnight jackpot. Nobody has. And that's a good thing. They shouldn't do that. And they won't, and they haven't. But everything on their official checklist is either done or shortly away from being done. So basically, we just stepped out of the past and into the present. And that present that existed on Monday last week is not the same present it's going to be on this Monday. So it's open. We'll see how that goes. All right. Anyway, it's a factual picture I think I painted, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for being with us with Militia Man and Crew. If you like our content, hit the like, subscribe button, and thank you guys for everybody that helps with the PayPal in this season. Really helps keep the channel moving forward, and I'll see you guys soon.
Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much, and have a great day.